So I skipped from chapter 2 to chapter 4. Now from verse 1 it says, "But it so happened that when Sambalat heard that they were rebuilding the wall, that he was furious and very indignant and mocked the Jews." So the enemy, once he sees that God has given you a purpose, he has given you a passion, he has given you a mandate to build. Once the enemy sees that God's dropped something, a seed in your heart to do something for him, he's not gonna sit down and fold his arms. He's gonna be unleashed. All hell is gonna be let loose against you. You know, um, he's gonna be. The Bible says he was furious. Satan was furious. In this case, in the story, it's Sambalat. So there was opposition. If God has dropped something in your heart, the enemy is gonna fight. The enemy is gonna make sure, ensure he won't fold his arms. He will make sure you don't accomplish your mission. Even as a fire was kindled in our hearts, as from sometime last year, and we began this Bible study group, and our lives have been changed and transformed, and more people are joining. We're building, we're building the waste places. The enemy is not folding his arms. He's trying to come up with all sorts of things to ensure that the building project is a failure. And he's attacked us in so many ways. He's attacked us with offenses, with anger, with grief, with challenges. He's attacked us with sadness, with sickness, all sorts of things, just to take our eyes off the mark and to ensure that we don't continue to build. You have to put on the whole armor of God. Ephesians 6 and verse 12. Put on the whole armor of God that you may be able to stand against the strategy of the devil. So they were threatened and the enemy began to fight. There was opposition. Sorry for the interruption. So, as I was saying, there will be opposition, just to take your eyes off the target, you know. So the enemy kept on threatening, attacking, but they didn't take their eyes off the work, and they were able to gain momentum. They were able to build to some extent, you know. Um, so the opposition got stronger in chapter 4, and it reached a point that they had to be vigilant. They had to, while they were building, some had to secure the building site. So you had those who were building. That was their job, to carry the mortar and the bricks. And you had those who were guarding, the builders. They had their swords, they had their spears, they had their shields. You even had some builders who um, had swords in one hand and brick in another hand. And what does this tell us? We have to be sober and vigilant. We have to fight the warfare. We have to be ready to fight, ready to stand our ground against the enemy. While there are those who are out there doing the work, there are also those who've been called to the ministry of intercession. of standing in the gap and praying and guarding those who are doing the building. And that's why intercessory prayer, being a watchman, if God has called you to be a prayer person, to be a watchman, it's very important that you fulfill your ministry. You're diligent in it because you're out there to watch out for those who are building. You are more or less the security person, the guard. So that's the lesson from chapters 3 and 4. You know, and then you say in chapter 6, when the enemy was not able to get them successfully, um, he came by deceit, by manipulation. He came, Sambalat and Tobiah and the rest. They came and met Nehemiah and said, let's negotiate, let's work together. And that's what happens with the enemy. He comes in a very subtle way. He comes through people to deceive and distract us. It could be a relationship, a romantic relationship, someone beginning to show interest in you. It could be anything. It could be someone trying to introduce you to a kind of job or a business that will take your eyes off the mark. It could be anything. So you have to be wary and conscious of such manipulation from the enemy. So we go to chapter 8.